Hey, y'all. I just realized my hair was kind of crazy. Woo! All right, let me just make sure this is popping on because Facebook has been crazy. I had to Google inevitable. I didn't know how to spell it. I guess I've never written out the word inevitable. You spell it just like it sounds. All right, let me make sure I'm live here real quick. Yay, I'm live. If you can see me or hear me, just throw me an emoji. Hey, Lilia, Amanda, Christina. Hey, Kendra. Okay, cool. Just actually, I would love to see an emoji that tells me how you're feeling today. Just today, right now, in this current moment, how are you feeling? Because I'm about to drop some awesome shit on you guys right now. I've been doing private client calls all day, and it was like the same theme that came up today. And it's just been this really big transition of remembering all the stuff that I went through when I first started this journey. And this one thing I'm sharing with you guys today is a huge part of it. Oh, frig yeah, unicorns. That's an awesome way to feel. Ooh, Christina. That's like my mind is blown. Is that like a good way? I love that, actually. And then actually, if you guys could just tell me, I've never actually done a live out here. I'm next to my pool. This is the new house, the pool area. We just put some palm trees over there. Is that fountain too loud? Can you guys hear that really loud? Just let me know in the comments really quick so I know if you guys can hear okay. And then I'm going to drop into this. It's basically literally, this is what I was telling my my private clients today on our calls. It's funny how in groups that I do, it's like people seem to track together and the same stuff tends to come up with people. It's pretty awesome. It's good. Awesome. Can't wait to see it in person. Yeah. We can hear you fine. Thank you for telling me that. Okay. So now I see how everyone's feeling. Lilia, a little bit straight-faced. Beth, I wonder if that's like, I'm a love bug. Christina's 3 love bugs. I love this. Hey, Amanda. Okay, cool. Inevitable success is sort of like I remember when I first heard that. I think I heard it at HCI was the first time I ever heard it from Stacy. Could have been Carrie. I think it was Stacy. And I was like, it's kind of like the word forever. Like, you know, when I was a kid, we always taught like, you're going to go to heaven forever and ever. It's eternal. It never ends. And you're just like trying to picture it and your brain can't comprehend it, right? Like, 'cause your brain can't comprehend eternal because nothing is eternal, you know, on earth. So inevitable success sort of felt like that for me when I first learned it, like this concept of inevitable success. And so then I was like, well, you know, the first thing I did was like, well, how do you make sure you have inevitable success? So inevitable success, meaning like you're guaranteed 100% going to be successful no matter what. You can feel certain, you can finally relax, and you get to, you know, calm down and not be worried about finances or not be worried about how it's going to turn out. Or, you know, some stuff I heard from people today was like being really terrified that they're going to go for it and look like an idiot or they're going to fail or all these kind of things. So like if you knew you were going to have inevitable success, like if you really knew that and believed that, you wouldn't struggle with any of those things and you wouldn't waste all that time and all that mental energy spending it worrying about if it's going to work, if you're going to have that inevitable success, and etc. So like when I first started learning about this, what I really dug into was like, of course, if there's such a thing as inevitable success, meaning you're guaranteed to be successful, of course, the one thing I wanted to know was, well, how do I get that? How do I make sure I'm doing it right so that I'll have inevitable success? And I think that's what a lot of people ask, like, but Mandy, how do I know it's going to work? Whether that's building their business or whether that's stepping into romance and a relationship or a commitment, or it's, you know, letting their message come out unedited and start, you know, maybe shifting from what they were doing into what they feel passionate about. There's like a lot of different things that this could be applied for, but there actually is a way to have inevitable success. And I'm going to share that with you. Inevitable success is actually available for you. And it probably doesn't look anything like you would think it does, right? There's like what most people think it is, like some magical formula that like, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z, then I'm guaranteed that I'm going to be successful, which is actually not true at all. Because if that were true, then all of the health coaches out there who are doing the same things that I see, right? Because I'm connected to HCI, so I see a lot of health coaches all doing the same thing. And some of them have success, some of them don't, and most of them don't, right? But some of them do. So if it was just true that you could just sort of do this magical formula, then somebody would be a billionaire because they would just tell you the magical formula and then you could do it. But it's actually not true. And unfortunately, when most people are getting started in the entrepreneur world, like I would say even before, oh, the fountain just went off. Yay. Even before you hit 10K months, right? Like, so I would say all the way up until like, once you start hitting 10K months, the lessons start to change a little bit. But unless you're at the place where you're making 10 to 30K months consistently, there's really a big story that people have that like, if somebody would just tell me how to do it, I would be successful. It's really prominent in their head. But once you start having some level of success, you recognize the things that got you there, and then you stop telling yourself that story. So I'm just going to try to help you fast forward straight through the long, drawn out lessons that people have to take and get straight to the thing. And you can either actually embrace this and you can apply it to you in a way that feels good for you, and then you can claim your inevitable success, or you can ignore it, like most people will do, right? But most of the people that show up here don't ignore stuff like this. So does that sound interesting to you guys? Like, I hope that has captivated you, because this is really big. Like, if somebody had just shared this with me in a way that I could understand before I went through all this, that would have been freaking amazing, right? So here's the idea. If you listen to everybody that's in front of you in this field, in the entrepreneur field, I think you might notice that they're all saying the same thing. And yet I watch so many coaches ignore this. They ignore, like, everybody saying the same thing. And I think the story might be something along the lines of, well, they're just saying that to sell me something, or they're just being lazy and they don't feel like teaching me how, or they don't know how to teach me how, and stuff like that, because that was the kind of stuff I thought, kind of exposing myself a little bit here. Those were the things I thought, like, oh, they're just too lazy to teach me how, before I actually started learning about this genuine inevitable success. And now I know when I'm feeling complacent, or I'm feeling like, oh, this is too hard, or this is not going to work, or I'm starting to get stuck in fear again, I go back to this is the exact thing I go to right now. And it's what I had to go through with my private clients today, a lot of my private clients today, right? So here's the deal. Everybody ahead of you is telling you that it's not about the how. It's actually not about the how. Like, yep, we can teach you how to do a sales page and how to like do your message and how to do this and how to do that. And it doesn't matter. And this is why it doesn't freaking matter. And this is why so many people are trying to tell you this, right? So many people are trying to get you to understand that it's 80% of your mindset. So if you aren't opting in and choosing inevitable success just because you fucking say it's true, I'm choosing inevitable success because I know there's always a way. And the blueprint, the story, the way that I choose to believe and operate in life is that there's always a way. Always. Anything that I'm longing for, anything that I want to create in my life, there's always a way to create that, make that happen. And the real question isn't what do I do to get new clients? The real question is, how do I shift into a place where I truly believe in my core, in my soul, in my gut, in my intuition, and right? How do I truly shift my place to sort of switch this switch off, to go from the place where I'm questioning if this is going to happen and like, well, I'll throw this stuff out there and we'll see what happens, or, you know, I'll do some of the work, but I'm not going to go all in, because then what if I look like an idiot? What if it doesn't work? Then what? I don't even want to know if it's not going to work, and et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole pile of mischief that people do to stay at that place, right? So instead of staying at that place, it's really like, okay, what do I need to do in order to shift to the place where I know, no matter what it takes, no matter what I need to do, no matter how fucking long it is, I don't know what the work is, but I'm willing to do whatever the work is for me to get there and have this result within my integrity, you will have inevitable success. It's just a matter of what I needed to do. The work is the work. Where you are is where you are, right? So I have clients that come in all the time. They judge themselves for where they're at. Like, I should be further along, or like, I feel like I've been doing this. And like, I'm watching them up level their family, their home, their environment, their weight, their health, their how they take care of their brain, how they fuel themselves, getting clear on what their purpose is. And yet they haven't hit a 10K month, so they're pissed off. And it's only been, 4 weeks. Like, That's pretty massive up leveling. And you're going to have inevitable success if you stay on track, because you're up leveling the shit out of your entire life. And it's only a matter of time before you're catching the skills and the passion to turn that into monetary gain. And other people do it right out of the gate because they're a little bit further along and they don't have so many things to work through. Like, what if this was just a matter of you being like, okay, I'm at where I'm at. And it's like going to the gym and being like, oh, I can't bench 200 pounds, so I'm just not even going to go to the gym. Right? It's like, that's silly. Like, what if you just had to start lifting whatever you could lift and know that if you show up every single day at the gym and you're lifting the weights, of course you're going to fucking get stronger, because that's just the way it works. That is inevitable success. It's inevitable that you will be stronger and you will have a different body and you will build muscle if you go to the gym and lift muscles every day and you lift weights every day. Right? It's the same thing for your business. What if you could have a sense of just knowing, of course it's going to happen. It's just a matter of showing up every day, accepting that I'm at where I'm at and the work is what it is and I will get there, and I'm willing to be patient and have a little stamina and like actually show up and do the fucking work instead of continuing to tell myself all the other things. I know I did the same thing, right? This is what we do. I always appreciate your positivity, Mandy. Yay, thanks, Heidi. Right? Like, so this is going to sound like a silly example, but I really think I think this is going to help a lot of people. Okay. The other day I was in my office, and just track with me for 1 second. This is really big. I'm in my office and I'm just like, there's a wall in my office that I want my husband to build these shelves on. There's like drawers at the bottom and like some shelving for my books and some of my plants and crystals and stuff like that. So I'm at the store the other day and I'm looking around for what I'm going to put on the shelves. And I just all of a sudden had this epiphany, like, yeah, this is it. This is how you build your fucking business. Because I know that those shelves are going up. I don't know where we're going to find them. I don't know how we're going to get them custom made. I don't know any of those things, but I know that I'm going to figure all that out. I'm going to do the work to figure it out, and they're going up. So I already started buying shit for the thing. So what if you showed up, like just what it feels like picture something in your life, anything that you know you're going to do. Like, what is it that you know you're going to do? Like maybe you're going to build a garden, but before you build the garden, you buy all the seeds because you know you're going to build the fucking garden, and you know some of the plants are going to grow and some of them are going to fail. Like, what if you looked at your business like you look at the garden, or like I looked at the bookshelf? Like, I just know the bookshelf's going to go there, so I'm buying shit before the bookshelf's there, and I'm not asking myself, well, but what if the bookshelf doesn't go up and then I shouldn't buy the things? That's not what I did. I knew it was going up. So what if you showed up in your business? What if you showed up every day just like, I know I'm going to build $1 million business. I know I am. It is what it is. And wherever I'm at and whatever the work is, I'm willing to show up and do it. And are you willing to actually be patient and show up and do the work and allow the journey and the process to happen for you to become the woman it took for you to have that $1 million business, right? Yes, honestly, I just did that with custom shells. You know, right? So like that feeling of like, of course I'm going to have the shelves. Like, I'm not sitting here second guessing if I should buy this or not because I don't know if I'm going to put the shelf up. It was just, would this look good on the shelf? So as I'm making decisions for my business, as I'm choosing who I'm going to choose as mentors, what platforms I'm going to use, what my voice is, what my message is, how I'm going to show up today, it's not like, well, what if this doesn't work? And what if my business doesn't be successful? What if I'm never $1 million success? What if I never reach people? What if they never get transformation? What if the people never get results? None of that is the question. We don't ask any of those questions, right? And so when you have some level of success, you can sort of see that. And in the beginning, it's really hard to see because we're asking those questions because they seem legit. They seem like legit questions. But it's just as wasteful as me being like, well, I'm going to spend all day in the store. I'm going to look at all these different things. But every time I go to pick it up, I'm going to be like, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to build the shelf or not. So I don't know if I should buy this. And we just waste all this time. Like, that would be so stupid. It's the same thing as letting our patterns actually run the show on whether or not you're going to be successful. So the way to have inevitable success is to damn choose it. And is to do the actual work that's going to shift your state so that you get in the habit of showing up every fucking day, knowing, of course, you're going to be successful. Of course, this is happening for you. Of course, you're going to leave a legacy and to heal millions of lives and teach thousands of people and transform and leave a legacy and live your purpose and live full out and be a shining beacon for other people to learn from. You're going to be permission for them to know that they can thrive. You're going to work through all the crazy shit. You're going to work through, what does it feel like to be seen? What do I do when people tell me that I'm not going to make it? What do I do when people start expecting me to pay their bills because I make tons of money? How am I going to learn to invest? What am I going to do with my taxes? What do I do when it comes to the place where I'm like, wow, do I want to donate or do I want to buy myself some expensive things? Do I want to up-level my house or do I want to, stay and like bounce around the world? Do I want to hire tutors or do I think that my kids should have to show up and do this themselves? These are all the problems that you're going to work through. And you're going to work through all of this shit. You're going to be like, wow, should I showcase all my brand new furniture? Is that going to make my audience feel triggered? Is this going to call them forward or is this going to inspire them to know that they can have this. Like, these are all the things you're going to do. Of course you're going to do it. And it only begins with you asking yourself two things. First, you get fucking really honest about where you're at with no judgment. When I started this journey, I was on freaking welfare. I was super unhealthy. I was on anti-anxiety meds, antidepressants. I was on and off again in my relationship because I was terrified about commitment. I was so frustrated with how I was showing up as a parent. I kept like numbing out all the time. And I had a lot of codependent stuff going on with my family and a lot of guilt about how I was showing up and feeling like I was supposed to rescue everybody and all of this crazy shit. And that's just where I was at. That is what it is. That's where, so if I was never able to just accept, okay, this is where I'm at in the journey, and then do whatever work it took for me from that place to get to where I am now, I would have never been able to get here because I could never just accept without judgment that this is just where I'm at. This is where I'm at in the journey. And the second question is, what is it going to take for you to flip that switch and you to start living life knowing that you have inevitable success and showing up every single day, and stop wasting all of that damn time? Should I buy this or shouldn't I? Because I'm not sure if the shelf is going to go up. Well, what if the shelf doesn't go up? What is that going to be like? What's going to happen? What are people going to think because I don't have a shelf in my office, right? I'm just not wasting my time doing that. And this is an option. And I know most people will not choose this. Most people will come up with loads of excuses. They'll let fear kick their ass, or they're just not ready, or they're just not willing to show up and do that kind of work. It's not like you have to do this. Not everybody is really excited about changing the world and, being a thought leader in this industry. And that's okay. But if you are, and if you feel called to this, I don't believe in coincidences. You're meant to hear this, right? If you do feel called to leave a legacy and to transform lives and to be a teacher and a leader and to support and give your purpose back to the world and be an example of wealth and success and thriving for other people so they can see it's possible, because either you believe in abundance or you don't, right? Either you actually believe in abundance or you don't, because abundance just doesn't disappear because your circumstance changed. So either there's abundance and it's available, or there's not. There is no in between. So if abundance is available and you feel the call to move forward in your business, then it's just about getting serious. Am I choosing inevitable success? Do I know this is going to happen for me? Right? And then am I going to make decisions based on the fact that I know I have inevitable success? So here's an example. We up-leveled and purchased this house, and I paid for tons of different support stuff for myself, right? Whatever I felt an intuitive yes for. And for the first time in quite a while, I went into some level of debt again. And for one quick second, it was like the old me who was in debt. And I was like, oh my God, I screwed up. And then I was like, I'm on my way to a multi-million-dollar business. None of this matters. In 10 years, when I look back at I up-leveled my entire life and my entire family and massive levels, and I went into debt for 2 seconds, and I'll show up and it's all going to work out. And it's just part of the journey. Of course, it doesn't even matter because it's inevitable success, right? So if I feel intuitively called for something, I'm going to show up and I'm going to make it happen regardless of what that looks like in the moment, because I don't have to worry about it, because I know that I'm going to be successful. There's no question or hesitation in my mind that I'm going to be successful and continue going to levels, right? So the question is, are you ready to flip that switch? Are you strong enough to own where you're at and to be okay with that without judgment? And then can you be humble enough to surrender to the current circumstance without trying to rush through it or turn it into something else? And can you allow yourself to go through the season of learning whatever it took for you to learn, to grow, to become the woman it took to have the life that you envision in your head? And if you're a hell yes, the July group starts in 4 days. In 4 days, we begin the next group. It's 66 days of doing nothing but rewiring this pattern and flicking that switch so that on the other side of it, you now know how to actually show up every single day and create this in your life. MandyPerry.com. I don't know if Susan's on here or not. She can throw it in the comments. This is what we're doing every day. So I do a combination, right? So every single day we're rewiring this, reworking this. So in 66 days, that's it. You're done. This is a lifelong change. You're going to have to actually mindfully undo it if you want that to be undone. You can't accidentally undo this after 66 days. This is powerful neuroscience-based shift in the body, shift in the brain, creating this new way of being, right? So we do that. And in the meantime, as we're doing the most important work, we do the secondary work, which is actually doing the tangible shit in your business. All the things that I did to go from 0 to 500,000 in 2 years. Right? Like this is literally the power moves in the business, not the bullshit busy work and the little stuff we're doing on the side because we're too afraid to actually own where we're at and we're terrified it's not going to work, but we're actually shifting into inevitable success and then making power moves, which my clients get epic results from, right? I feel like I'm about to burst. I just need, but need just a tiny boost. Yeah. Right? So if this feels like the kind of work that you're ready to do, knowing full well what you're capable of and where you're at, and you're okay with owning where you're at, and you're willing to show up and do whatever the fucking work actually is, right? And you know that, of course, you wouldn't have even begun this journey if, right? Like everything you went through was so that you could be strong enough to get to where you are today, so that you had the wisdom and the strength to get to that next level. Because we were never going to stop here. You're always going to go to the next level. So it was never about like, oh, I should be somewhere else, or like, oh my God, I wasted so much time. No, you didn't, because you needed to know what that felt like, right? That was another thing that came up with my clients. You need to know what it felt like to have wasted the time in order to know what it feels like to not be wasting the time. You can't have a foreground without a background, right? There has to be something to go up against it, or else how do you know that you're showing up differently, right? So this is literally the work. This is going to be a very small group. If you are interested, just go to mandyperry.com, fill out the application, and book a call. We begin in 4 days. We already started the prep work. There's already been major shifts just from the prep work. Just let us know. If you have any questions, it's support@mandyperry.com. If not, if you're feeling like that doesn't resonate with you, at very least right now, I want you to ask yourself, where are you in this journey? And can you just sort of smile and be like, cool, okay, I can see where I'm at. It's really powerful to just know where you're at and to own that and accept that and not make it a big deal without judgment. That is such a powerful move in and of itself, not to have judgment around that and to accept that. And then ask yourself one question. Hi, baby.
Hi, Mama.
Then I want you to...
Swimming?
Yeah, I'll go swim with you in a minute. I'm almost done.
Mom,
And then...
you have a rash.
Yeah, I was just one sitting.
Oh.
Okay, then I want you to ask yourself a really powerful question, okay? I want you to ask yourself, what support do I need to get to that next level? What support do I get to have to go to that next level? That's it, super easy. What support, and I don't care what that is. Like, no judgment, don't judge it, but it should be this or it should be that. No, it is what it is. And your soul will tell you, I'm telling you, your soul will tell you what that next one is, and then you get to actually take action on it. And if you can't take action on it, that's when you're like, okay, well, then I need support because I'm not taking action on it. You can tell yourself, I'll do it myself all day long, but if you're not actually doing it, then it's time for support, because 99% of people aren't going to go do it. That's what it is. That's why we choose support, right? I can't wait, Lilia. Oh my God. I got some powerhouses in here. I love you guys so much. Yesterday I cried because I was just so grateful. I was doing some running and I was doing all the things I'm grateful for. And I was like, I'm so grateful for my clients. And I thought of all my clients and the Millionaire Mind and my Diamond Mastermind and my ACA groups and like the smaller Facebook Lives groups I did and stuff like that. And I just kept thinking about how powerful these women are and how epic they are and how big they show up and how they stay in it. They just fucking stay in it, stay the course, no matter how tough it gets, no matter how confusing or scary it is. The huge wins, and they learn how to celebrate the wins and go forward. And like, how blessed am I to be part of that journey? I just feel so grateful. And like, I know I'm crazy as hell. Like, I know I'm all over the place and crazy, and people still show up and lovingly learn from me. And I just feel so grateful for that. So I truly love you guys, and you guys are massively inspiring. I'm constantly inspired by you guys. Yay. Okay, now for the few people that are left from the beginning, I want to ask you, now throw me an emoji about how you feel. How are you currently feeling right now in this moment? Love heart shower. I love heart showers. Yay. Okay, now, if you have a friend or a peer that you know could be reminded about inevitable success and how fucking epic and powerful they are and how incredible and amazing they are. And of course, they're going to make this happen and go to that next level. Be sure to tag them in the comments, because part of doing this is being able to do it together. And like being in this journey together is such a big part of it. It makes everything so worth, right? Like the isolation pattern that's in our country is astonishing, right? So we get to literally do this together. So tag someone who you know is a badass and needs to be reminded or gets to be reminded. Just because you love them, you get to remind them of inevitable success. And the rest of you guys, I know there'll be some applications coming in. We'll get the last of the people wrapped up into the July group. Hell yeah, Lilia. I love it. Okay, guys, I love you. Have an epic, fantastic, amazing day. I'll talk to you guys later.